to our Bolivia report for tonight. It's good to have Abe and Margaret and Benny and Lorena with us. Is that me schuldig geweest? I've been there a number of times to Bolivia, and so it's good to see them on this end. We actually went to countryside this morning, so I got a glimpse of some of the reporting there, and brings back many memories. So it's good. I'm blessed. I was blessed this morning and encouraged by you guys, and so I trust that it'll be the same for everybody here tonight. So this time I'll call up on Ron and whoever else to open us in a song.
Good evening. If you would take a hymnal from the rack in front of you and turn to 388, Take My Life and Let It Be. If you don't have a hymnal, then let someone know and they will find one for you, but I think there's enough to go around. .388, Take My Life and Let It Be. Take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to Thee. Take my hands and let them move at the impulse of Thy love. Take my feet and let them be swift and beautiful for Thee. Take my voice and let me sing, always only for my King, always only for my King. Take my lips and let them be filled with messages for Thee. Take my silver and my gold, not a mite would I withhold, not a mite would I withhold. Take my love, my God, I pour at Thy feet, its treasure stored. Take myself and I will be ever only all for Thee, ever only all for Thee.
Thank you, gentlemen, for leading us in that song, and may it be so. Are we actually willing to give ourselves up and let the Lord lead us? So we'll have a report by Abe, Margaret, and Benny, and Lorena, and then after the report is done, I think we'll open it up for some questions for you guys. So if there's something that pops up through the report that you're like, I wonder if there's a thought is provoked or whatever, you have a question, just keep it in mind, and we'll leave it up. We'll open up for a short time of questions afterward, and then after that was a time of fellowship in the back. So this time, Baby Abe is coming up first, so I'll ask him to come up.
Good evening. It's good to be in your midst again. I've been here once before. It feels even a little bit familiar yet from 2019 when we were here. And I'm thankful that we can be here. Thank you for coming, for making it worthwhile for us to come out here. You are here so that we can share with you what God is doing. And I always tell people that this is God's work that's happening in Bolivia. It's your work, and we just happen to be the channel through which it runs. You're pouring into a funnel, and we get to be that small little hole where it runs through. And so thank you for making that happen. And we are here to do two things. Actually three. Number one, we want to praise our God and worship our God for what's happening. But we also want to say thank you to you for supporting us. And then we want to tell you what is happening. So Margaret and I have been in Bolivia for 10 years now. It's been just over that. We landed on April 8th of 2015 in Santa Cruz and have lived there since. I had been praying for many years that God would send me to Bolivia as a missionary for at least 4 years, and it never worked until that time. And it was a very clear call. This is what God wanted us to do, and both of us knew it. We've been there now for 10 years. So just a brief update or introduction, first of all. Bolivia is the heart of South America. It's right about the middle, not quite, it's a little offside, but anyway, that's where Bolivia is. And we are in the eastern side, or in the valley. When you go from Santa Cruz west, it's right away, right behind the city. It's up on the mountain. That's why it's called Santa Cruz de la Sierra. And we work to the east of there. So I want to give you a little bit of, for those, how many have been in Bolivia? How many? All of you? Who has not been? Oh, now there's just as many hands. What happened? Okay. If you were to come to Bolivia to visit us, then you would land right in Santa Cruz, in the city, right in there. And if you would have made arrangements beforehand, we would have come there and we would be there to meet you. Probably you would have come on Copa Airlines at about a few minutes before 10 o'clock in the evening. Sometimes it's a different hour, but that's the best flight. We would pick you up and we would take you towards our home, which is over this way. Pailon is right about there, the river here. And Villanueva, just northeast of Pailon. That's where we would take you, and you would spend the night, and then the next morning, whatever happens. But then we would take you on down the road about 50 kilometers to the east, 50, 60, is Tres Cruces. You see the little town here. And there's a crossroads here. Mennonite colony is all over here. And the Belize colony is right in that area. So we've bought a little piece of land right there, so that we're right next door. There's just a street, just a road between us and the colony. And that's where we have set up Amanecer. When we go on another 150 kilometers down the road to the east, you see San Jose de Chiquitos right there. Hacienda Verde is right in that neighborhood. So just so you have a feel of what we're talking about, and we're going to be mentioning all these places along the way throughout the evening. So I want to just orientate you a little bit. Then I want to tell you, I believe that I have the privilege of leading the best team in the world, the MEM team. MEM is a group of 9 different missionaries. Here you see a few more. Some of them have now stepped out of the team and are no longer there. But this was our team at the end of last year. And we are, like I said, 9 different units. Some of them are single women, but the rest of us are then homes married. And so we're from 5 different countries. We are from 8 different denominations from these different countries. But all that doesn't stop us from working for one Lord, for one purpose, in one team. And I believe the MEM team is a very united team. It works together very well, in spite of all these things. MEM has a vision, and I want to just go over that with you so that you know what we're working for. Our vision for colony Mennonites in Bolivia is for them to experience a victorious life in Christ. And we seek to do this in 3 different ways. 1, evangelism and discipleship, helping individuals to know Christ and become more like him in all areas of life through church planting, personal counseling, radio, or other forms of ministry. That's our most important goal. Back in the year 2000, when Daryl and Elaine Kaler and David and Lisa Jansen and a few other people were there, They started working in the Pilon area. 2005, they bought this piece of property called Villanueva today. And at the time, it was just a piece of land, and there was some very poor people who needed an opportunity to start up again. Today, there's a vibrant community there with a couple of different churches, a very nice school. We'll show you a picture of that later. There's different businesses, people can work. There's a medical clinic. This place has developed very well, so it was very well worthwhile to start that. In 2000, I believe it was 2010, when Bill and Martha Kaler started in the colony of Nueva Esperanza, the Paitabomans Baum. They had their first service on New Year's Day. And things developed from there so that by 2016, there was a church, and the pressure was very, very heavy, persecution, and people wanted out. So we bought this piece of land, which is now called Hacienda Verde, and that is just outside the community of San Jose de Chiquitos. And then in 2023, we bought another piece of property here by Tres Cruces, Belize Colony, which now is Amanecer. Amanecer, and some of you are telling me that's a hard word for you to say. If you don't know Spanish, yes. It means sunrise. It's based on Luke 1:78, 79, where Zechariah was prophesying about John the Baptist, his son, and saying that the morning sun will rise over those who are in darkness and in confusion. We believe this colony needs light. We believe that we are bringing a new light, new sunshine into this colony with the gospel of Jesus Christ. That is why we chose that name. That's the first thing we do. Second thing, education. Developing a government-approved, high-quality, Christ-centered education system to prepare individuals to live a meaningful, God-honoring life. So we have schools. One of the very important things we believe is to educate our young people so that they can not just farm and milk cows, but that they can actually go and do other things. And in 2003, Arlie Peters, Arlie and Eva were there. They started a school in the Pilon area. In 2006, a building was built in Villanueva. Today, there are about 260 students in that school. Many over the years have graduated with a grade 12 diploma. They can then go on to other education centers, universities, and study further. We have a doctor who graduated from there and then went on to the U.S. to study, and we're very proud of that school because when you come out of there, you're trilingual. You can speak Spanish as the base, and English, and Plotich, and it's kind of cute when you see these Spanish little kids running around, they know Plotich. Anyway, the Dr. Irving Martins, who has a medical clinic there, was very proud of the school because his daughter graduated from there and was able to go to the U.S., go to university with the English she learned in that school, and get her doctor's degree. So the school is a really good school. In Hacienda Verde, the school started at first in the colony Nueva Esperanza in 2013 with 4 students, and then moved to Hacienda Verde when it opened there in 2016. Today, there are about 80 to 90 students in the school. There were 120 to begin with, but people have moved, and so there's less there. And then in February of this year, 24th of February, I think 24th, we had our first day of school in Amanecer with 4 students, Nancy Friesen teaching them, and they are very excited about the school that they have. We're hoping to grow from there. That's number 2. And number 3, economic development. Facilitating financial development and independence of Mennonite families through adult education. When these people, it's usually those who have nothing to lose who will be first to respond to the gospel. Then, when they come out of the colony, they have nothing. They need help making a living. And very often we have to teach them how to go to work and how to keep a job, all those things. But the idea is that we teach them a way to make a living or help them find a way and then live within their means so that they can grow from there. So that's our 3 E's. Evangelism and discipleship, education and economic development. Our goal is always that we will work ourselves out of a job. When we start a work somewhere, then our goal is that we will find people who will accept Christ, and then we will disciple them and teach them and help them come to that point where they can take on the leadership so that we can step out of there and go someplace else and do it again. It takes a while. And so here you have a group of people who were the leaders of the Villanueva Church at the end of 2023. Maybe that wasn't even the end of the year. 2023. We went on a retreat, and this team has changed a little bit, but today there is a leadership team in place. We started the church in about the year 2000. In 2024, we handed it over to local leadership. It is today a church that is completely locally led, and we as a mission have no money involved. We have no people there other than we loaned them a missionary as a youth pastor. And he's got his time set for another year and a half, then they're also going to move out of there. So we're very happy to see that the church is doing well now. It's just over a year after we stepped out, after Mark and I stepped out, and the church is healthy today. And it's starting to grow, and we're very excited. When we got there, I met a young man. He was 18 years old at the time, and I got to know him a little bit, and had the opportunity to watch him grow through the following years, helped him get married, and he was elected as a lay pastor in 2021. They went to Bible school in Paraguay for 3 years, and then he was hired as the lead pastor in 2023. I believe the biblical way of discipleship is that you teach them, you show them, then you let them help you, then you switch it around and you help them, and then you step aside and let them do it. That's how Jesus did it. That's how Paul and Barnabas did it. That's how I believe discipleship should happen. So that's what we did. In 2023, I became the assistant pastor with him being the lead. 2024, Margaret and I stepped out completely and started worshiping in a different place. This church is completely led by the local people. So Benny and Lorena, why don't you come up here and you tell us the rest of your story.
Good evening. An honor to be here. It's my first time here in Canada, so things are a little bit newer here, to me especially. As Abe was saying, Abe was helping us get married. It sounds a little strange, though. Yes, he was there for us, and we are married. And God has blessed us with 2 beautiful children, and yeah, so we will tell you a little bit from where we come, where we were raised, and then we'll talk a little bit also what our work is now. So my wife will start with it.
So I'll be sharing a bit where I come from. I come from Bolivia. I was born and raised there. My parents spoke English at home, and that's where my English comes from. My parents moved back in the jungle when I was around 2 years old, and that's where I grew up. We didn't have friends or get together with people, so my social skills are extremely limited. But my dad did teach us about the Bible and about God at a very young age. When I was 18, my dad passed away from cancer that he was battling with for 10 years. And when his sister Martha and her husband Bill decided to come see us for the first time, I asked if I could go back with them. Martha also wanted me to make friends, so she took me to her neighbors across the street, and there I met Benny and I got to know him. I was drawn to his fire to learn about God and do God's will in his life. A year later, we got married and started our family. Eunice was born the following year, and after that we went to Bible school for 3 years. And our second child, Lois, was born during that time. Benny began to work more in the church as lay pastor, and we could kind of see where this was taking us. We had other dreams as well of starting our own farm, and we were kind of in the spot of deciding which decision to take. I was hesitant at first of being pastors. I wasn't sure if that was like being a missionary on the run most of the time. And I had seen how Bill and Martha had it, and inside I was repeatedly saying, no, I don't want to be a missionary. And one day I thought, like, why am I saying no over and over again? Isn't one no enough? Could it be that Jesus is calling us to actually let go and do only what he wants? Was in some ways nerve-wracking. What if he calls us to do something we don't want to do? And then I remembered the Bible verse where Jesus says, if you can't leave everything for him, you can't be his disciple. And I knew this verse, and I knew I was trying to bury it under some excuse, but now I knew it was time to make the decision of actually following him or not. And I decided we'd trust God and follow his call, and it has been so much better than I had anticipated.
Yes, my wife and I, we come from very different places, which makes it fun in our marriage. When we were doing pre-marriage counseling with Abe and Margaret, they said our marriage would be fun because we were so different. And it has been fun, and my wife has challenged me quite a bit already to get out of my comfort zone, out of my bubble. We have a beautiful family. We have 2 girls. As you see on this picture, this is how our children dress to go to school. The oldest is 7 years, the youngest is 5 years. They're not here today with us. They are in Bolivia. And so yes, we are hoping to see them soon. We have been, as Lorena was mentioning, trying to avoid being on the run, but so we are. We are away from Bolivia now 1 month almost. So yes, this is a little bit of where she grew up. This is one of the roads. Close by their house, they have a river, and that makes sometimes when it's rainy season, the rivers get very high, so they are taking quarantine quite seriously. They have to stay home for a month because the rivers are so high they can't get out. It's not because of the sickness, it's the weather. It's very wet, that area. My wife is a special, talented, she does paintings. If you're interested, she has a very good hand to paint. This was on a Christmas market last year, and it went very well. If you want to see it coming, we're hoping to do it again this year, so you're invited. This is another thing my wife does. She is studying or learning how to play piano. This is her 2nd year. She does also play in the church, and that's about her. Then I want to tell you a little story about a boy. In 2007, there was a family living in the colony. This family were farmers, and one morning, as they were working, the father was at the house, and the boys were working at the field. An accident happened, and as you see on the picture, and this boy got his hand cut off with a disc that they were working with on, preparing the land to do crops. They took this boy then to the city, which is about 1.5 hours away now, or about 2 hours from where they used to live. And when they got to the city, the first doctor, they said this boy would die, so he would not accept him. The reason of that is his hand was cut, and his lung was pierced with his rib, so he was bleeding internally. And so the parents of this boy, they took him to the second doctor. The second doctor said the same thing. They wouldn't accept him because they were going to die anyway. So the parents were not accepted there. They took him then to the third doctor. The third doctor agreed to have him in there, but under the condition that the father would sign the paper stating that if this boy did die, they would not press charges against him and things like that. So the father did that. Then they had another issue yet to face. Since they were in a hurry to get this boy to the hospital, they had not took the hand along. And the people who were going to help these parents to pay for all that medical bills, they said, you have to try to put the hand back on. And so the father had to go back, get the hand, and bring it to the hospital. And during this whole time, 5 hours had passed till the hand was there. The boy was ready to go in surgery. And in surgery, they took another 5 hours. Then they had put the hand back on, and they had also put it so that the lung was able to get clean. And then they put him in intensive care for another 2 days. After these 2 days, this boy got feelings back in his hand. The life was coming back to the hand. And I don't know, does somebody here remember that story? Anybody? There was a prayer request sent out. And if I'm not wrong, David Janssens were leading then that church in Villanueva. And the reason why I'm asking is because many people prayed. And this boy is me. I was that boy who lost a hand, and not because the doctors were great or anything, but because God wanted to work through you and to encourage us to go forwards. I have the hand today. This is the hand that was cut. And God has put life back into it. And for me, this is one of the reasons that I do work in the church. I do believe that God has not just a farming plan for me, but a bigger plan than that. Not meaning that farming is not important, though. More than that, we also had the chance to go to Bible school. Graduated in Bible school in Paraguay. Went there 3 years. In 2021, we were nominated as lay pastors and worked together with Abe very much. And he has been an example for me, has been my mentor, has been a person who has helped me learn more about God. And as he explained already, after 2 years, we became lead pastors. And right now we have a church that we serve in that we're very thankful for. We have a church board, and we work together there. We have a congregation about 70 to 100 people meeting each Sunday, just to get an idea. And I'm still studying. Those who are in ministry, they know that we lack a lot of intelligence many times. And this is a school in Santa Cruz. This school now is led by Liab, and some of you know some part of it. This was started, what year was it? 69. And by mission, the Mennonites didn't accept the gospel very well, and so they turned to the Bolivians, and they did. Now there are about 17 churches from the Spanish, and we are now going there to learn more. And this is a study for 2 years, and I'm very blessed to be part of this. This is our teenager group. We have a group of from 20 to 30 teenagers, from 12 to 14 years every week, and usually that's the number that we have. We do various courses in the church to grow. We do weddings. So far we have done 3. We have also been able to see the great blessings that God gives us to see and to hold newborn babies. This guy that you see here in the picture is somebody that I look up to. And he is not graduated in 12th grade, but he is a Christian. He falls many times. But I look up to him because he stands up each time. And that is something for me to learn, because we as pastors are not perfect. We fail, we do wrong, but we can learn from the ones that are around us to stand up again and try it again. That's half of my job. Then I have another job that is half-time, is at the school. As Abe was mentioning, there was a school that was started in the year 2000, and now this is the front part of the school. Here are 260 students in there, or around there. Only in this school, under this one, there's various other schools. And I am now the maintenance person in this school, which is very good for me. Just this year, we had upgraded, made it a little bit better in the backyard. We have a soccer field there, and we had soccer tournament this year there. Just as a fundraiser, we had very, very much people there. I want to say today to you, more than just all these things that we do, or the many things that you did and are doing in our midst. I'm not only here to share about the missionary work in Bolivia, but to say thank you. Thank you for every prayer. Thank you for every offering, every word of encouragement, every visit. I was just visiting with a few of you and mentioned that you had been in Bolivia. And I have to apologize, I can't remember it all. We got lots of visitors, and we're very thankful for that. Thank you very much for all your sacrifice that you made over the many years. Today, you're not just hearing about that work, but you're also seeing the fruit. I am one of those fruits, a life reached, a life transformed, and I'm also sent by God to do work. I am the result of love and obedience of a church like yours, a church that believed the mission was worth it, that believed Bolivia needed to hear about the living God. And I'm not the only one. In Bolivia, there are families that didn't know God and now serve Him. There were no leaders, but now there are leaders. Youth, one like me, I was graduated in this school, a Christian school, a school where today many Spanish people are lining up to get in. This school taught me a lot about God and also the church. As Abe was mentioning, I was once not only a youth there. I went to Sunday school there, I went teenagers there, youth, and now God has blessed me to serve in this church. So thank you very much for investing your time, your prayer, your efforts in it. Not only want I to say or thank you for your effort and work there. You were part of the story from the beginning, but are still part of that story that has to continue in Bolivia. A lot of things have been achieved. Many people have accepted Christ, but there's no reason for us to stop here. There's a lot more people who need Christ. God has chosen you as an instrument to show us His grace. Sometimes we sow and don't get to see the sprouts, but God does know every seed that is put there. Philippians chapter 1, verse 3-6 says, I thank my God every time I remember you, and all my prayers for all of you I always pray with joy, because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. This passage expresses what I feel for you. Paul speaks with gratitude and joy, remembering the faithful partnership of the believers in the gospel. And today I pray with that same joy, thanking God for all your efforts. You have not just been spectators, you have been active participants in God's work from the first day. So I want to say thank you for sowing, thank you for sustaining, thank you for not forgetting Bolivia. And if you've ever wondered whether all that effort was in vain, it was not, and it is not, and it will never be, as long as we do stay in God's will, and as long as we do what He has put us to do. So thank you very much, and I encourage you to keep working. May God bless you greatly.
Good evening.
Maybe you want to say a little bit more? Introduce yourself?
He likes to put me on the spot. He didn't tell me that he was going to do this. I'm his best wife and best supporter and hero.
Yes, she is all that and much more. Bill Kaler tells me that if she's not around, I'm not even half the man. So she's the one that makes me what I am. And I'm very, very happy about that. As I told you, we have this beautiful team of people that we get to work together with. And our base is in Santa Cruz, San Jose. San Jose de Chiquitos, we have the Casa de la Amistad. Some of you have been there, you know what it looked like. It doesn't look quite like that now. It looks much nicer. It has been renovated, it has been worked through, and it's updated. It looks very nice now. And the reason is that we have a couple there who have worked very hard. Anybody here know them? Yeah, Daryl and Muffet. They came there, and I've got to just tell you, you sent us a good couple. Daryl isn't afraid to be laughed at, so he'll just laugh with you. And so he's okay saying some things backwards, and so when he tries to speak Spanish, sometimes it sounds a little funny, and people laugh. But he's the first one to do so. And so how do you renovate a building, buy all the supplies, and work with people who don't speak the language that you speak? You use Google Translate. He has a phone, and he speaks into it. It talks to those people, and they talk back to him through the phone, and it works. And he bought all the material. He gave all directions, everything through Google Translate. And we hired a couple that work there with him constantly. They're on the yard, and he's managing very well. So thank you for sending us good people. Daryl and Muffet fit in very well. They're very hospitable people, very good people for us to work together with. We're proud of them. Hacienda Verde, I told you a little bit about that. There's a multi-purpose building there that looks like this. This is a typical building in Bolivia. And there were 450 people in the church on Sunday mornings. As I told you, things are difficult. And so some people have moved. What's difficult? The financial situation in Bolivia isn't stable. It's very difficult to get foreign money. To get US dollars now, you pay a very expensive price for them if you can get them. And it's hard to get diesel fuel to do the stuff that you need to do on farms. Crops are rotting in the fields because we have no fuel. The farmers are lined up for weeks waiting for fuel at stations, and it is really difficult for the farmers there, so they get discouraged. The political situation isn't stable. We're expecting an election on August 17th and really wish that there would be a better government come into place or into power, but there's 10 different parties that all want to be president, and it's not looking that positive. Anyway, so many people have moved, and as I told you earlier, our goal is always that we will put local people into leadership and we will leave them to run things, but when they're moving around so much, that's very difficult. Right at the moment, we have a leader in Hacienda Verde, Enrique Rempel. He's the leader of the team. They are split 50-50, local people and missionaries giving leadership to that church. We're very thankful for them, but they're struggling. They're having a hard time, so we're very thankful. On January 21st, 2024, we had our first service at Amanecer. I told you before about that place. It's right beside the colony, and we were under the trees and had a very nice morning service. We had a groundbreaking ceremony. We had a great day. Since then, we've moved 3 buildings there. On the far right, you see Nancy Friesen's house. That's where she lives. She's our administrator. She's our teacher. She's our finance person. Without Nancy, I don't know what the team would do. It would be difficult, but we're so thankful we have Nancy. We do various things to attract people to come there. They're very afraid to come. They're being warned very much. Don't go to that place at the end of Randland. Up Meng Randland, that's a dangerous place to go. Don't go there. And so people are afraid. We put on meals and we put on all kinds of things so that we can attract people to come there and find out that it's not that dangerous. We're just people, and we're friendly people. So we can stand around and visit, or we can sit around and visit, however you choose to do it. And we are very pleased when people show up. It was difficult, has been very difficult, because on Sunday mornings or on Wednesday night Bible study, nobody shows up from the colony. That gets discouraging. A couple of weeks ago, Benjamin and his son Kevin, they prepared a meal for a Sunday evening, and they invited the young men from the colony, and they were so excited. 7 young men showed up. And he said they didn't get much volleyball played because they had so much to talk about. They had a barbecue and just sat around and talked for most of the evening. Did play a little bit, but this was very encouraging. A week later was Pentecost, Medals to Halyadah, Pentecost Monday. They invited people from the colony for supper and then for an evening of singing and what have you. And they were so thrilled. 52 people showed up. It was a total surprise, and it was very exciting, very encouraging for them. Today they are much more encouraged, even though last Sunday nobody showed up. It can get discouraging. So pray for these people.
Benjamin and Bertha that work at Amanecer.
Benjamin, Bertha Kaunhofen.
Yes. This is the school. That was one building that was brought there and then prepared for school. Nancy is the teacher. Nancy designed the inside, and it looks, to me, very lovely. I would like to be a student in there. They've got a good teacher, and this is their reading nook. The wall was painted by Lorena. She'll put a rug on the floor and give the kids a pillow, and then they get to read. And Nancy says that's their favorite place. On February 24th, we had the beginning of school. We had prayer time outside to dedicate the school and teacher and students to the Lord. And I hear very good reports. One of the dads a while ago, I was talking to him, and he says, "Ich moet sehr oppassen, nicht zu sehr pochen von dieser Show."
So that's just a little bit of that. Now, I want to know, who of you here is a builder? Any builders in here? All right, I want to see, do you build like this? We started putting this building together. The posts have been cemented. Those posts are 6 meters tall, and the trusses are going up there. Is there a building inspector in here? That truss is about 82 feet long. The boom would be up about 20 feet in the air, and we're moving it across the place. And I just want you to know, we do some things in Bolivia that might not pass safety inspection here. These trusses, they go up on top of those posts, and at the end it looks like that. They get welded on, and by the end of the day, we had all 5 of them up there, and then the next day the roof went on, and we have a roof. And then I want to brag to you about a team of people who came there to help us. Anybody recognize anybody here? Yeah. Thank you so much for sending these guys. They took their own money. I'm not sure how much of you helped them, but we didn't have to pay them to come out there. They actually gave us money. And they came there to work. They didn't come for a holiday. They came to work, and work they did. They worked very hard. We had an evening, I'm not sure what time it was, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when they started. And they cemented that floor, and by 10 in the evening, we could walk on it. We had them working in there. Thank you. We are very, very grateful that they came out and spent their holidays, spent their money, spent their energies, and helped us with that floor. We had a little bit of money left over after the floor was done. You had sent us $50,000 Canadian, and we were able to make that floor, and we were able to also put up some walls. A little bit later, another $25,000 came. So we had $75,000 to work with, and we got the building to that point. The plan is, on the bottom we will have, well, there's washrooms and a small room for ladies with their babies, and then there's a classroom and a storage room and a kitchen on the main floor. Upstairs, we hope to build walls, and then we hope to have another 4 rooms up there, classrooms plus an office and a bathroom. We have big dreams for this place. When you look at from this end going that way, we've got enough room that we can put up a volleyball net there, and there's holes in the floor to put the net. Everything is prepared, and it's a very exciting thing for us. We got it this far with the money that you sent. Thank you. We are very much now praying that God is going to supply the rest of the money so that we can put the windows and the doors and the floors and the bathrooms, the sewage system, that we can put that all in. So another $40,000 would do all that. And we're praying that we will have that by the end of the year so that by February next year we can have school in this building. We need it because the 4 people in that, 4 students we have now can fit in that little room, but if we'd have more than that, it would get crowded. There is talk of more people coming, possibly as many as 15 to 20 that would be coming next year, and we are very excited about that, but we need the room. So we're asking you to pray with us that we will have the resources to finish this so that we can use it, and then eventually build the top part. At this place, we're also looking for a couple. Right now, there's Benjamin and Bertha Cowenhoffen living there, and Nancy Friesen. It gets lonely. It gets discouraging when they are in the colony every week visiting different people, and on the weekend when there's church service, there's no evidence that anything happened. We know that there's good things happening in the colony. People are talking. We know that relationships are being built, but it's sometimes discouraging when you keep going back, and sometimes Benjamin and Bertha need some encouragement. If we had another couple there, and we're not asking for much, we're just asking for them to be have a few gifts. One, that they speak Plotich. One, that they're evangelistic, that they're musically gifted, that they are pioneers who can keep on going when the going gets tough, so that when Benjamin and Bertha get discouraged, then they can encourage them, and vice versa when the going gets tough. So we're praying that God will send us another couple to live there and to help build that church. But we believe that God is at work and things will happen. And we're also praying for a PA system. There's people who would like to do concerts there. We have the room. Mennonites love to sing. And when we have concerts, people show up. And even if they don't show up right under the roof where we can see them, but they're hiding behind the bushes listening, we need a good speaker system, a good PA system. And they were telling me we were already on the road saying that they would like to do a concert there, but where's the PA system? So help us pray that we will get that so that we can do the work here. So that's about Amanecer. Another thing we do is radio. RCB, Radio del Campo Boliviano, is on the air 24/7. We have a very nice team that runs this. This is at Christmas time. Dorothy Fair puts on a good Christmas show, Christmas party, and we always get invited, and we always go home with some kind of a basket. We get something. Dorothy loves to give us something. So she puts on a party sometime in December. And so this is the team that manages the radio. I've been on the air one evening a week for 6 years already and have now finished that, but we're looking for more people. We have a team that does the Plotich part. You know some of these people. And I just want to talk to you about Peter Clausen, Paitan Erna. You probably remember Peter from 2 years ago when he was here. And that's him right there. And he came out of the colony never having seen a computer, never having had anything to do with radio. Benny Fair got him introduced to radio, and he had to learn the rest. He loves anything technology, so he learns very easily. Now he has married one of our other missionaries. Now they are a couple, Peter and Erna, and they're working together. And if you haven't heard them, you should hear them on the radio. They're fun. The kids love them. Jacobo and Naita's kids, they can't wait for the evening when Paita and Erna will be on the radio, because they usually have some kind of a riddle or something that the kids enjoy. And so pray for them. Paita is a very talented young man. He doesn't read very well. He's learning the languages, but it's difficult. But he's growing, and he's done very, very well. And just a little brag piece, he is also working for Abe Zacharias every week for about 3 hours. He's online helping with the radio station here in Crete. So we're kind of proud of that our Bolivian people can help the Canadians with their radio issues. And so anyway, that's a little bit of prejudice there. But we enjoy it. Paita and Erna are very helpful. Paita and Anna Bowman are there as well. You may have met them last year, Bill and Esther. And then there's Margaret and I. If you want to listen to us, you can. We have an app. You can just go to your favorite place, your Play Store, your App Store, either on Android or on Apple, and download that, and you can listen to us 24/7. And you can take part in what's happening over there. Bolivia is the hub of Plotich ministry, so we hosted the Plotich Media Conference this year, just the other day, or just last month. And we were 97 people registered. We had a good time. We had a beautiful facility that we could rent. This is owned by a German group. They have put up, this is half size of the ark that's described in Genesis, and they use this as a Bible center. You can see the name there. And they have, if you go upstairs, and Peter Giesbrecht did a beautiful job of telling the whole Bible story. They start with creation, move you into the Israel story, and then around to, and they tell you they have a display of a temple, Herod's temple, 1,000 to 1, how do you say it? Anyway, pardon? Scale, that's right. And so you get a very good lesson of how the temple was built and how it was used and all that. So that was a very nice facility we were in, and we were able to network a lot. When we do Plotich, we need to know what is already being done in the world so that we don't have to try and come up with it. The people in Germany are doing some things, we're doing things in Bolivia, and some are doing it in Mexico. And so who's doing what? And then we network so that we don't have to duplicate everything. So that's why we're involved in that. At night, that place looks like this. And it is a gorgeous place. We are also part of or ministering in Guia de Paz. Guia de Paz is a rehab center. People, when they come out of the colony, very often come with lots of addictions, lots of issues. They need help. And sometimes they can't shake those habits until they've had a bit of time to dry up and to grow. But not all people need help with addictions. Some of them have marriage issues. There's very good counseling happening here, and marriages are put back together. People are helped in various ways. So I've had the privilege of teaching a class a week there, and it's been, this is a very important part of our work, even though it's not ours, but we partner with them. There's also a Kingham. The parents, they come here, they spend 90 days there. What do you do with little kids? There's a children's home just down the road where they can drop off their children and leave them there for 3 months. Those children learn the gospel. They come out of there many times. These kids have accepted Jesus and are now helping the parents, reminding the parents. This morning we were in another church, and there's a family there. When the parents got discouraged, the children said, "But we can pray." And remind the parents, we have Jesus. We don't have to do this alone. So we are very thankful for this place. As Benny mentioned, there's that Spanish group, LIAP. This was started as a side effect back in 1969, 70, when the EMMC started working there. the Spanish people came and said, but we want help too. Our goal wasn't the Spanish ministry, but it happened, and we're so glad that it did, because as Benny said, there's about 17 churches in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. They sent out a missionary some years. He was in Mexico for 12 years, and there's 20-some churches in Mexico City as a result of this work. So if we keep that connection alive, and as you can see, I'm part of it there. Sometimes I get to pray with these guys, and I tell you, when they start praying, it's like a war room. They're all praying together, all praying at the same time, and war happens. And so it's a privilege to be part of that ministry as well. So that's a little bit about the work that we do. We have been in Bolivia now, as I said, for 10 years. And we have seen God do awesome things. I told you that we're looking for one couple for Amanecer. We're also looking for another couple, a counselor couple, that has gifting and training for counseling. People very often come from very broken homes, have many, many wounds in their spiritual life, and their soul is all wounded, and they need help. Just because they accept Jesus doesn't make the problems go away, because they've been wounded so badly. And we need someone who has the gift, the call, the training to deal with all this garbage that these people are carrying, so that they can get rid of it, so that they can be free in Jesus Christ. Can you help us pray that these people will show up, that we'll find the right people? So Margaret and I have come to that point where we've decided that we will work to the end of this year in Bolivia, then we will move back to Canada, and that means that there's a hole that needs to be filled. You have a very nice board, and they are working, but I've given them more work because of this, or with this. Now they need to find a replacement. And so pray for the board as they look for that replacement. Pray for missionaries on the field. We come from various walks of life with different ideas of how the gospel gets lived out. We all have the same base. We stand on that one foundation, but we have different ideas of how that gets lived out. That can cause friction sometimes, that can cause stress, different denominations. And so pray that we will work in unity, that we will stay the course, that we will stick with the vision, and keep in mind what God called us to do, that we won't try to be the Savior for everyone, but rather do what God called us to do, so that we can keep going. And pray especially for the people of the colony. They live in such fear. Pray that they will overcome that fear, that they will come out and accept Jesus Christ, accept the freedom, so that they can live a free life and that a better life can be had. So that's our report for this evening. So Jason, it's back to you. But we want to say thank you. Come on up. We want to say thank you for your support all these years, and thank you that you are continuing to support the mission in Bolivia.
All right, thank you, Ava, Margaret, Benny, Lorena. Maybe just stay up here. We'll get to some questions here in a minute. As going through those pictures again, it was like, for one, I think when we were in Bolivia, when Lorena had just come out of the jungle, so to speak, and I think we bought one of the first paintings you did there, and so we're privileged to have that in our house. But it's good to see you have grown, and especially your faith. So this time, is there any questions anybody has? If you have a question, please just maybe just stand up, and then I don't think we need a mic. It's not that loud in here, so.
Bevor nach Mol nos Las Piedras, aber uns concentration ist wirklich an die Belize Colony, aber wir sind sehr dankbar für was an Las Piedras, die Menschen dort, die sind nicht dafür, wie du sind, aber einige von denen, die werden sehr, die Hauptmannswärtig, die werden die Häuser da haben, die milken die Gas, die pflegen die Gas ab, da wir eine feine Gas haben da und so was dort. Aber recht, wenn von der Kolonie wird gesagt, sie können dort nicht down mit der Koloniegerätschaft, dann deuten sie dort mit ihr nicht. En houdt men dan doch. So wie met eentje van die hebben een goed verhältnis, niet met alle. De twee hiezer komen van van Las Piedras, dat andere kamp van QPC. We trekken terug naar Elmer, Ontario. En de oorzaak is niet dat we meid zijn van onze arbeid daar. Dat is niet dat we dan niet meer willen zijn, of dat ons dat nou dat er eens wordt. Maar we feilen dat als de rechte tijd, wens mijn ouderen worden alle, da fehlt immer mehr hulp. En we hebben Geschwister wat met kreeft kampen, we hebben kinderen wat over ganz Kanada verspreid zijn, we hebben Großkinder wat abwossen. En er zijn verschillende oorzaken, maar werkelijk, we trekken terug naar Elmer, wens mijn ouderen wonen door. En daar willen we nu voor de nächste tijd $1 helpen. Mir hört sich so, wir haben vielleicht das Bereich an Lied stehen.
Yeah, I think most of us would be okay with the float each, so good. Anyone else before we go and have some coffee and fellowship? All right, I'll just close the evening in prayer, and then we'll be dismissed. And yeah, but feel free to stick around and maybe have a word with our Yast and just hang out in fellowship. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this evening. We thank you for Abram, Margaret, and Benny and Lorena that can come here and just share the work. It is your work, Lord, that we have a privilege of being part of. And so we just ask that you would continue to bless it. Pray for the workers that are in the field, Lord, not only the MEM team members, but also the locals like Benny and Lorena, Lord. Pray that you would give them much wisdom. Just continued love for the people, as we've heard there's still many Mennonites that need the gospel, Lord, and so we ask that you would bless that work there. And Lord, just pray for the fellowship and the snack here, Lord, that you would just bless our time there, and bless that our bodies, and pray for each one that as we go our ways, Lord, that you would just continue to guide and direct us. Just praise and thank you in Jesus' name, amen. That you're dismissed, and maybe, yeah, actually just before you go, maybe Abe and Margaret